CES has always been the weird one. Half science fiction showroom, half gadget graveyard. But this year felt different. Not louder, not flashier, more serious. AI was still everywhere at CES 2026, but the tone shifted. Fewer gimmicks, fewer pointless AI inside stickers, more real products, more infrastructure. But before we dig in, did you know that 40% of you listening aren't following us? Come on, guys, hit that follow button and collect our episodes on pods.media. Thanks, mates. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look at our collected source material from, well, a very different CES 2026. And the mission for us is pretty critical. We need to understand why this year felt like such a line in the sand.
It really did.
Yeah, all of our sources are basically pointing to one big idea. This was the end of the AI gimmick era and the start of something much bigger, the deployment era.
That's the perfect way to put it. That's the thesis we really have to unpack for you. Because if you think back to last year, 2025, the whole narrative was just novelty. It was all concept devices, vaporware, companies just trying to slap an AI inside label on. Well, on anything.
Right, anything with a chip in it.
Exactly. This year, 2026, the heaviest hitters completely shifted gears. It went from what's possible to here's what we are executing on. AI is not. It's not a feature you add anymore. It's the foundational system that is the product.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Because when you say the gimmick stopped mattering, what does that actually look like? I mean, I still saw a ton of weird concept gadgets on the floor.
Oh, for sure. The weird stuff was still there, but it was background noise. The real story, the one being told by NVIDIA, by AMD, Samsung, Google, they were setting a completely new pace. We're talking serious product roadmaps for the entire year ahead.
Okay, so it's a shift in focus.
It's a shift in constraint. That's what matters. In 2025, if you wanted better AI, you basically just needed a better idea, a smarter algorithm.
So the bottleneck was intellectual, a lack of genius, basically.
Yeah, precisely. Now, the constraint is entirely physical. And this is what our sources are all unified on. AI growth is no longer limited by ideas or cool demos or, finding the perfect prompt. It is constrained by chips, by energy, by memory, and by the sheer speed of global deployment.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah.
From the conceptual to the very, very concrete.
Profound.
And that explains the change in atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Because if the bottleneck is now physical manufacturing, if it's about resources, you can't just wait around. You can't slow walk your announcements.
You absolutely cannot. You have to claim the high ground, the manufacturing and infrastructure high ground, as early as possible.
The iteration cycle has just gone into overdrive.
Totally. I mean, if you wait for your own big conference later in the year to announce your new platform, you've just lost 6 months. 6 months of narrative control, 6 months of locking down crucial supply chain deals. CES 2026 became this aggressive battleground for momentum.
So if execution is the new game, we need to go right under the hood. This deep dive has to focus on the foundations. We're not talking about shiny interfaces here. We're talking about the raw infrastructure that makes AI run everywhere.
And that conversation, as we saw everywhere in the sources, has to start with compute. It has to start with NVIDIA. They were the central figure here, unveiling their next-gen AI platform, Vera Rubin.
And the key thing here isn't the name, it's the timing.
Exactly. It's already in production. This isn't some future promise or a concept. This is the literal backbone for the deployments we're going to see all through 2026.
Okay, this is where we should probably slow down, because the technical detail here is what makes the economics of this whole deployment era work. You said Vera Rubin speeds up training and, critically, drops inference costs. What are inference costs, and why is that the magic switch?
Great question. The simplest way to think about it is this. Training costs is what you pay to teach the AI model. It's that huge upfront investment.
The R&D phase?
Right. But inference costs, that's what you pay every single time the model answers a question, or generates an image, or makes a prediction for you. It's the ongoing cost of operation.
So every time I ask a chatbot a question, that's an inference cost.
Every single time. And when those costs are high, AI is a luxury. It can only be used for, a specialized service or some high-end feature. But by engineering a platform like Vera Rubin to be incredibly energy efficient and fast, NVIDIA is cutting that per-use cost down to fractions of a penny.
And that is what makes it economically viable to have AI everywhere.
That's the light switch. It allows companies to run AI constantly across billions of devices. It can be background noise reduction in your car or your washing machine proactively ordering a part before it breaks. It turns AI from a boutique service into a utility like electricity.
The entire business case changes.
The entire calculus. And at the same time, you had AMD, NVIDIA's talking production, and AMD counters with this really powerful unified message. They're pushing hard into data center GPUs, consumer CPUs, and their message was crystal clear.
And is going to outstrip supply.
For the rest of the decade. That's what they're saying. And when you put those two things together, NVIDIA's execution and AMD's prediction, the conclusion from the sources is just unavoidable. This is no longer a model race.
Right. It doesn't matter who has the smartest model on paper.
It's a manufacturing race, a logistics battle.
It's who can physically build and deploy the silicon and the data centers the fastest. It's geology and supply chains limiting the dreams of AI researchers now.
You've got it. It's a fundamental manufacturing race.
That's fascinating. It just completely changes where the competitive advantage is. So, okay, once you have that raw power, the next question is distribution. How do you get it into the hands of millions of people? Who's setting the pace there for 2026?
Well, in terms of sheer volume, it's got to be Samsung. They just laid out this massive commitment betting on AI across hundreds of millions of devices. The specific target they gave was 800 million AI-enabled devices by the end of 2026.
800 million. And for you listening, that's not just phones and laptops. We're talking smart TVs, refrigerators, everything.
Everything. And when they say AI integration is foundational for a home appliance, what they mean is it moves from being reactive to proactive. Your fridge isn't just counting what's inside. It's optimizing energy use based on real-time pricing from your utility company.
Or ordering a new water filter before the old one goes bad.
Exactly. It becomes what we can call an AI operator for its little domain. And that scale just embeds AI into daily life at a staggering rate.
So that's the aggressive physical distribution. But our sources also pointed out that Google is kind of quietly winning the distribution battle in a different way.
Yeah, Google's playing a different game. Gemini is spreading everywhere, phones, appliances, and the big one, it's expected to start appearing on iPhones soon.
And their advantage isn't just having the model on a device.
No, it's about data scale. If Samsung is putting AI into 800 million devices, Google is making sure its model is sitting on those devices, generating and learning from just massive amounts of real-world data. That cycle deploy, gather data, improve, redeploy it, creates this huge competitive moat.
So Samsung wins the device war. Google wins the data war by putting its brain in everyone else's hardware.
That's a very clean way to put it. And then you have Amazon. The sources say they're finally activating what felt like, a dormant empire.
With Alexa Plus and the new wearables.
Right. And their strategy is really clever. They're pushing AI into daily life without changing user behavior.
That's the key, isn't it? The frictionless adoption. How do you give people this new power without making them learn a whole new thing?
By enhancing what's already there. Millions of people already talk to Alexa. The new Plus features, they aren't some new app you have to learn. It's just a more sophisticated, more contextual conversation with the same voice assistant. Amazon is just maximizing utility by piggybacking on habits that are already there.
Okay, let's pivot back to NVIDIA for a second, because the infrastructure race isn't just about the cloud. They made a really clear statement about the physical world.
They did. Their goal is to become the default platform for physical AI. Think of it like Android for smartphones, but for robots.
So anything that moves.
For any complex machine that moves in the real world. Robotic arms, autonomous vehicles, you name it. NVIDIA wants to be the nervous system for all of them.
And they're doing this by bundling everything together, right? The full stack.
Exactly. They aren't just selling you a chip anymore. They're giving you the simulation tools to test the robot safely, the vision model so it can see, the action model so it can decide, and the edge hardware to run it all locally. It's the path of least resistance for anyone trying to build a serious commercial robot in 2026.
So we're moving AI off the screen and into the messy 3D world. And that AI operator you mentioned, that's the system managing that reality, whether it's a warehouse or your refrigerator.
That's the convergence. Chips, robotics, consumer devices. It's all coming together, and it's driven by these huge infrastructure improvements. AI is moving from being a passive assistant that waits for you to a complex system that proactively manages its environment.
Okay, so we've painted this picture of incredible scale and execution for 2026. But as AI grows up, it has to face some pretty serious real-world challenges. What are the constraints our sources were highlighting?
Yeah, we have to inject a dose of reality here. The resource limits are tightening a lot. We're seeing major constraints around energy and water usage as these just gargantuan data centers keep expanding.
These things are demanding resources on the scale of a small city.
They are, and that creates friction with local governments, with energy providers. If you're literally running out of water or power in a region, that trumps any software innovation you can come up with.
This is another physical bottleneck.
It's the ultimate physical bottleneck. And on top of that, the risk of chip shortages is still very real. If AMD is right and demand outstrips supply for years, then deployment speed is just inherently limited. It creates winners and losers based on who locked in their foundry contracts first.
What about on the consumer side? Is there a risk of fatigue?
Oh, definitely. The sources point to major consumer fatigue around AI branding. If your toaster, your car, and your shoes are all AI powered, the term just loses all meaning. It's not a differentiator anymore. The focus has to shift to, what does it actually do for me?
And for the physical AI, the robotics, what's the big hurdle there?
It's the messiness of the real world.
Yeah.
Robotics still struggles significantly outside of controlled environments.
Yeah.
A factory floor is predictable. Your living room or a busy street corner, not so much.
Too many variables.
Too many unexpected variables. And AI systems still have a very hard time with genuine physical unpredictability. That remains the biggest technical challenge.
So if we synthesize this all for the listener, the core message from CES 2026 is that this wasn't about what people wanted to build anymore. It was about what they were finally able to build at scale.
That's it. The infrastructure, the chips, the economics of low-cost inference, the software platforms, it has all finally caught up to the ambition. This convergence has kicked off the next, far more serious phase where AI moves from being a clever novelty to being essential infrastructure. The era of the AI operator has begun.
So the takeaway we leave you with is this. 2026 isn't going to be decided by who has the smartest model. It's going to be decided by who ships, who scales, and who people actually trust to run things.
And that question of trust is what we really want you to mull over. As AI shifts from an app you choose to open to a foundational system that's proactively running supply chains or robotics in your home, what does trust even mean in that context? And who's accountable when these systems hit those physical limits or fail in the messy real world?